You know, you walk through your city every single day, but what if I told you it's actually speaking to you? That every single curb, building, and street corner is part of a secret language that's shaping how you feel and act. Well, today we're going to decode that language. Welcome to the Urban Design Toolkit.
I mean, we've all been there, right? You're on one street and it just feels vibrant and welcoming. And then you turn a corner and the next one just feels off. That's not magic, and it's definitely not an accident. That feeling is the result of thousands of tiny intentional choices. It's the language of design at work.
Okay, so here's our game plan. First, we're going to tackle why some cities just feel right. Then, we'll get into the 7 core principles of design. After that, we'll crack open the Urban Design Rulebook and then see how designers are literally building better streets. And we'll wrap it all up with a little pop quiz before we send you off to see your own city in a completely new way.
So, let's just jump right in. That amazing feeling you get in a great public space? Well, designers have a name for that. They call it a responsive environment. It's basically a place that's been carefully, deliberately crafted to respond to the needs of the people who are actually using it.
So how do you actually create one of these responsive environments? Well, it all starts with a blueprint. A set of 7 foundational ideas that act as the guide for creating places that people don't just use, but that they truly love.
These 7 words right here, they're the essential goals. You can almost think of them as the DNA of a great place. So let's break down what each of them really means.
First up, permeability. This is all about choice and flow. Think about a classic city grid with tons of interconnected streets. That has high permeability. There are so many ways to get from point A to point B. And the opposite? Think of a suburb full of cul-de-sacs and dead ends. It funnels everyone onto just a few main roads. High permeability? Well, that's freedom.
Next, and this one is so important, is variety. This is what makes a neighborhood feel alive. A place that has variety mixes homes and shops and offices and cafes all together. This creates a buzz at all hours of the day, making sure the area doesn't turn into a ghost town after 5 p.m. It is the lifeblood of a vibrant community.
Now, let's talk about legibility. It's a really simple but powerful idea. Can you find your way around without getting totally lost? A legible place has clear paths, memorable landmarks, and a structure that you can kind of map out in your head. It's the difference between feeling confident and just feeling confused.
This leads us to a really interesting one, robustness. This is all about flexibility. A truly robust space is not a one-trick pony. It's that town square that can host a farmer's market on a Saturday, be a playground for kids on a Tuesday afternoon, and a festival route on a holiday. It's designed from the ground up to adapt.
Then there's visual appropriateness. This just means a building's design should kind of give you clues about what's going on inside. You know, a grand, columned entrance might signal, hey, I'm a museum or a government building. A wall of glass windows at street level? That's an invitation into a shop. The form helps you understand the function.
And that brings us to richness. Richness is basically the antidote to a boring, sterile environment. It's the delight you get from all the different sensory experiences. The texture of old brick, the sound of a fountain, the way light and shadow play across a plaza. It's all those little details that engage our senses and make a place unforgettable.
And our final principle is personalization. A great place feels like it actually belongs to the people there. It lets them put their own stamp on it, whether that's putting out some flower pots, painting a storefront a unique color, or just setting up a little bench. It shows that a place isn't just being used, it's being loved.
So, okay, those are the principles, the big ideas. But how do you actually turn those ideas into reality? Well, for that, you need the rulebook. Let's look at the powerful legal tools that planners use to shape our cities. For a really long time, cities used what's called traditional zoning, which basically separates everything. Homes go here, shops go way over there. The problem with that? It created these huge car-dependent suburbs and often killed that crucial principle of variety we were just talking about. So the modern alternative is something called form-based codes. These codes care less about what happens inside a building and more about its physical shape, its height, its windows, how close it sits to the sidewalk. The whole goal is to create a pleasant, cohesive street that people actually want to spend time on.
Okay, now check this out. Here's a really clever tool, Transfer of Development Rights, or TDR. Imagine a beautiful old 2-story historic building. Now the owner can't add floors to it, but the rules for that part of the city might allow for 20-story towers. So what they do is sell their 18 stories of unused development rights to another developer. That developer can then add those 18 stories to their own project somewhere else in the city. The result? The historic building is saved, and the city still gets the development it wants. It's a win-win.
All right, we've covered the big ideas and the legal stuff. Now for the fun part. Let's look at the physical tools, the hands-on techniques you can actually go out and see on your own streets.
These are like the hammers and chisels of the toolkit. You've got traffic calming, you've seen things like speed humps or those little zigzags in the road that force cars to slow down. Then there's this amazing Dutch concept called a woonwerf, which is a living street where cars and people are meant to share the space. And of course, there's the more obvious one, pedestrianization, just making a street car-free. And finally, infill development, which is the smart move of building on empty lots inside the city instead of sprawling ever outwards.
Now, one of my personal favorites is adaptive reuse. This is the art of giving old buildings a brand new life. It's turning an old factory into cool loft apartments or a forgotten church into a concert hall. It's not just sustainable. It preserves the city's history and its character. It preserves its collective memory.
Okay, you have just been given a crash course in urban design. Feeling pretty good about it? Let's find out. Time to put that new knowledge to the test with a quick pop quiz. Let's see what you picked up.
First question. Form-based codes differ from zoning because they focus on, is it A, land use, B, the physical form of the building, or C, population density? Take a second. If you said B, the physical form of the building, you are exactly right. It's all about shaping that public space.
Question number 2. A street that can be a market, a playground, and a festival route is a great example of which principle? Is it A, legibility, B, permeability, or C, robustness? And the answer is C, robustness. It's a space that's designed to do many things.
And the last one, the Dutch concept of a woonwerf refers to what? A high-speed freeway, B, a living street shared by cars and people, or C, a segregated bike lane? The correct answer is B, a living street, where people and bikes actually have priority.
Hey, great job. And look, whether you got them all right or not, the real point of this wasn't about a test. It was about giving you a new lens, a new set of tools to see and understand the world that you move through every single day.
The places you live, work, and play, they didn't just happen by accident. They were designed using this very language of permeability and variety and robustness. So the real question is this. Now that you have the toolkit, now that you know the secret language, what are you going to see when you walk down your own street tomorrow?